Well, hi everybody, I'm Ruechel, and welcome to this portion of the PCS Journal, where we sit down and chat with the Superintendent of Pinellas County Schools, Dr. Michael Grego. Dr. Grego, good to see you.
Great to see you too, Al.
I like your pin that you have on.
Well, thank you.
I
like the one you have
do you
on.
have it on too? Yeah. This is my gift for doing this for all of these years. Hey, let's start off by talking about a big topic that's come up lately, vaping and what the schools are trying to deal with. And I know that we at Bay News 9 have done a couple of stories on it already, but what's the school's position and how are you dealing with that?
Well, thank you, first of all, for doing the stories. I believe vaping is one of information. We're going to have to really, truly educate all of us, the Department of Health, educate the public in terms of the dangers and harm of vaping. It is something that our youth and our adults are being marketed to. Mm-hmm. And very successfully. And it's something that I always say to principals, we're not going to be able to consequence our way out of this, we're going to have to educate our way out of this. Yeah. The same thing we did with cigarettes, the same thing we did with seatbelts and many other things. So vaping is hazardous, it's dangerous, and the notion that it's less dangerous than cigarettes, it's still dangerous. Yeah. So I really do want to continue to charge and to thank the organizations like the PTA, parent associations, or SAC committees, and many others to really get the word out. And you know who's really leading this charge that I'm so excited about is our students. Oh, true. Okay, that's great. When I meet with our seniors, they know the dangers, and they've created PowerPoints that they're developing and they're showing in the class. I'm thinking of a senior leader at St. Pete High School that is taking this on and becoming advocates to try to help. Great. Their shirts and their logo is that we're not guinea pigs. We're not the ones that are going to be the generation of guinea pigs that we don't want to be found. We don't want it to be found out that for years of vaping, all of a sudden we are in harm's way. So as a community, we're going to have to address this. This is not solely a school issue. This is a community issue. I see the number of vaping shops that are opening up in every single street. So this is a community issue. Yeah, and parents, just a kind of word, if you have any suspicions about your kids and you don't quite know how to handle it, you can also call the school district, because they have resource people that I know, that Donna Sicilian and her group of people that can talk to you about how to talk to your kids, but don't vape, okay? I don't know how they got started anyhow. So now we've got some great kudos already. I'll look at this number, 23 PCS students named National Merit Scholarship semifinalists, the brainiacs I call them. They're wonderful. You know, the thing we celebrate with the National Merit Scholars, and the thing I always want to emphasize to our families throughout Pinellas County, these 23 students, yes, they've hit a landmark, a really successful one. They represent about 1% of the population that are taking the PSAT and SAT. However, I want it to be known and really strongly understood that in Pinellas County we're stretching all students. Yes, that is that we provide the PSAT in 8th and 9th grade. In fact, in this December, we're going to be providing, just for about 800 to 900 students of our top students in 7th grade will sit for the SAT. This mirrors the Duke TIPS program, the Talented Identification. We have our own Pinellas Talented Identification program. And we identify the top-tiered students, and they're sitting and getting great scores in 7th grade. It's not about the scores, though. It's about the practice. And yes, that's true. We provide the PSAT in 8th grade. We provide the PSAT in 9th grade. The state provides a PSAT in 10th grade. We then give an in-house, during school, SAT and ACT. It's not about testing. I don't want people to think, though, we're over-testing students. What we're doing is preparing them to succeed, to compete for top-tiered universities through our state and through our nation. And the reality is that there are a lot of kids that are very, very smart, but when it comes to tests, they just choke. And I feel so bad for them. But I'll tell you that, now secret be known, I won't say which one because I can see it coming back to me, but one of our children who is very, very successful at what they do right now just had trouble with those tests because it would freak out a little bit. Well, we know that, and that's understood. However, practice makes perfect. It does. That's practice, right. Practice. Yep. And you add to that, Al, the SATpractice.org, which is part of Khan Academy's partnership with the College Board. You add to that where students are able to raise their SAT scores by 100 to 200, sometimes 300 points just by practicing. Absolutely. And so this is all free to students. And in our district, in Pinellas County, we want this this elevating excellence theory and concept to really work for our students. So if you don't make a top-tiered university, you're making another university, you make a college, you make a 2-year college, you make a technical college, but the rising tide lifts all boats, and we have to strive for excellence and really stretch our students in our district.
Right. Look at some of these other things. We talked about the Sandy Hook Promise before. Start with Hello Week. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, this is starting off with Hello Week. It's a national movement with Sandy Hook Promise. As you know, we started with partnering with the Sandy Hook Promise before the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas tragedy, and it was all an effort in our district to really work with that social emotional. Start with hello. It's an elementary thing.
Sure.
You see a student that really needs a companion, a buddy, so to speak. Start with hello.
Yeah.
And we were actually recognized. Madeira Beach was recognized as nationally as one of the top schools to implement Start with Hello. And it's the development of the culture at the school. Northeast High School was a high school recognized in Pinellas County for the demonstration site for see something and say something. If you see something, say something. And the national folks from Sandy Hook Promise came down and celebrated with our schools. And that's to say that even though Northeast or Madeira Beach, they're doing phenomenal work, the other schools are also. These are just really two schools that are being recognized. So it is a time to really celebrate the culture and the healthy culture of Pinellas County school districts, of caring culture. That's the best way to keep schools safe.
And speaking of, boy, what a great segue. Speaking of health practices, you're getting a lot of recognition as well as America's Healthiest Schools by the Alliance for a Healthier Generation. So tell me about some of the things that are going on to try to keep our schools healthy. What does that mean, healthy schools?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great question. People don't sometimes recognize that it is, first of all, the recognition of our curriculum. We have all of our middle school students are sitting and working with health curriculum, PE. We have physical education, licensed and certified PE teachers in our elementary schools. So when people look from the outside in to Pinellas County schools, they see this strand of health-related curriculum and instruction at our elementary, at our middle, and in our high schools. The other aspect of what we've just recognized too is healthy Pinellas County. The food, the exercise. We have a health champion at every single school.
Oh, that's cool.
So we connect that to our wellness program. So our employees, we're examined to say, how well are we keeping our employees healthy, exercising, what we're eating, the screenings of our employees. All of these things fit together. So it's our students' health, it's elementary, middle, and high school, it's our employees' health, it's everything kind of going together. We've had a tremendous emphasis on keeping everyone and trying to maintain a healthy work environment, not only for our staff, but really building those relationships with our students so they continue it on.
So I was looking here ahead of time, the application period, we're just mentioning this briefly because as you know in Pinellas County Schools you have a choice of what school that you would like to go to, but you have to apply and go through that process, and it's already coming up on January the 8th. And I know that's a long way away, but it's a good time for people to just start thinking in terms of, I know the school year just began, but look down the line. What kind of parents should, what kind of kids should be looking ahead to that kind of application period?
I always encourage parents to visit schools. And by the way, their neighborhood school is a choice. And I know from my own, we chose our neighborhood schools. It's a great choice.
Yeah.
But for specialized programs, sometimes I suggest that to parents and students, visit the school, see if the program is what matches your students' needs. The reason why I appreciate you mentioning it now, even though the sign-up period's in January, the homework of visiting schools, we're going to start to have fairs in the month of October.
Oh, already? Oh,
and
that's
so
great.
take your time, visit the fairs, no rush. We have some open houses throughout our district of our magnet programs. We also have county-wide fairs. So look for the calendar on our website in terms of choice, /choice.
Right.
And you'll see the whole calendar of how to get better informed about our choice program.
So I kind of promised myself that I would do this, and we've been doing it every time because I know that the achievement gap is a big deal for you. In fact, you have told us on the air many times one of the reasons you came here is because you really wanted to tackle that. So it's not on here, but I kind of want a progress report. We're starting the new year again. I know you've looked at some numbers from last year, and as we go forward, where are we really with that?
Well, thank you for bringing that up too, and I hope we continue to talk about that because the more we talk about it, the more it's out front.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it needs to be a topic that's not ever pushed aside. We're looking at a graduation rate, it will come out in about 6 weeks from now from the state, but our records show that our African American graduation rate will hit at 80% for the first time ever.
Really?
Which when we started this work, when I first became superintendent, was in the low to mid 50s. And so we're talking about an 80% graduation rate. We started this work together, our overall graduation rate was at 70 to 71%. So you can see how we've really progressed in terms of our African American graduation rate. The reduction of ESE, students with exceptionalities, of overrepresentation, the state has recognized our district for the first time in its history of not being, not having a risk factor greater for the African American learner. The acceleration component of the achievement gap component is really working well. That is that our number of African American and, let me add, Hispanic students. I know the Bridging the Gap is specific to the African American.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But both of those continue to climb in AP enrollment, AP success of qualifying scores, honor class enrollment also, and gifted qualifications, as we are universally screening all students in first grade at the end of first grade. So all of these things are kind of moving in the right direction. In addition to that, we had an uptick for the first time of qualified African American teachers that we're trying to hire more and more African American teachers into our school district, and we're building a strategy that's succeeding there too. So we're moving in a positive direction, and we're going to continue on. We have this pathway that in 10 years we're going to eliminate the gap. It's aggressive.
Wow. And
some years maybe we have favorable results, some years we level off, but in 10 years we're saying we're going to be the district in the United States that's going to eliminate this gap. We're on our way.
And are you getting buy-in from all of the partners? Because again, I have been around here way too long. I mean, since 1987 we started doing this program. So are all the partners on board with it? It seems to be that not only being in the media but watching what's going on, it seems to be that people are pretty much in agreement that we're on the right track.
They are, and as I can reflect back not that long, but the seven years I've been here, is that at first there's less trust, less understanding, and I believe the plan and our school board and the buy-in from everyone is saying, let's work together, because we can't do this work alone. It's really going to take our community to ensure students are showing up at school every day. Attendance is critical. And showing up at school every single day, ready to learn, good night's sleep. You have to know everything the student's learning or we're teaching, but just ensure that student's at the doorstep of the school every day.
And just before we run out of time, because we were talking about this ahead of time, I do a feature on Bay News 9, Spectrum Bay News 9, called A+ Teachers, and it runs every Tuesday. And what we do is people write letters to us at Bay News 9, me and the staff that picks these out, about why a teacher should be nominated. We've done a bunch of them in Pinellas, but I've done them in all 7 areas. So I just want to kind of tell you that, because I can't praise the teachers enough, because we go cover these remarkable teachers. You can go to our website, baynews9.com, for free, even if you're not a subscriber. You can watch 4 or 5 videos for free. Go to the A+ Teacher section, and you're going to see remarkable stories. Vicki Torrentino, the one we just had on a couple weeks ago, she had a little girl who was a failing student, and she was so upset that she literally got up and tried to run home. Ms. Tarantino, who's been teaching for 32 years, literally left her classroom, had somebody cover for her classroom, went out and got her and brought her back to school. Since that time, it literally changed that girl's life from a D student to a straight A student. And the little girl, who was this little blonde, diminutive little thing, she said, she literally saved my life. And Ms. Tarantino just basically said, I tell all my students, if you try to run away, I'll always come after you.
Al, your segment of A+ Teachers is having such an impact in our community, and I can't thank you and Spectrum
it's great. It's my privilege
for
to be
doing
able to do it.
And it's about time that we started to celebrate the teaching workforce and really celebrate teachers. And not only that, but encourage people to go into the field of teaching.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, we're out of time for now. We'll be back with more after this. Dr. Grego, good to see you.
Great to see you.